Welcome to Sundays with JFC. Here we are at 1144 Studios. Here to start bringing the message out. I got a lot to say. Let's talk about, the fact that here I am committing blasphemy. Fuck it. It's time for people to realize, use a little logic in what this universe is about and stop believing all this bullshit that we're hearing every day, about how we're supposed to live our lives, and just use your brain. I mean, God, the creator, whatever we're here to talk about, however you want to word it, is, it doesn't want us to be this uniform thing that everything is trying to fit us into, and people got to realize that now. We all need to be unique and different, and the fact that we're constantly trying to be controlled and put into yeah, can you kill it? I fucked it all up. I'm live. Shit.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. Got me back.
Alright, so now
we're back to the other way, yeah.
Yeah. So
I thought I had it.
Fucked it up. I'm just trying to publish some posts to help get some more viewers and whatnot.
I have a lot to say, but it's not easy trying to arrange what I'm trying to say. The shock value of using the name Jesus fucking Christ was what I was trying to address first off the bat. And the idea that is the idea that is to get this idea out there that fuck it. It doesn't, we need to all be unique and different, and this idea that we need to fit into these uniform things is wrong. Man, I thought I had down exactly what I wanted to say, and I lost it, bro.
It happens. It's the best of us, Yeah, it happens. So what the fuck is going on with my mic here? Oh, you know what? Helps if I dial that fucker up. Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Shit.
I like how you're preaching the unique thing, take your own, essentially take your own.
No, okay, the creator that made us all wants us all to be unique. This is the point I'm trying to make. The ideas that we've been following with these religions for thousands of years is wrong, that God wants us all to fit into a mold. This is the most important thing that can be taught right now, is that every person should have their own unique view of what the creator is. I can explain to you in depth, in detail, why that is from the point of creation up till now. But that's not really what I wanted to get into right away. I want to talk more about how we need to let go, and we need to figure out what every person needs to figure out why they're here, obviously. And when a person goes to do that, they go to the church, and the church is just giving people this same bullshit fit into this mold thing, and that's not what the creator wants for us, and that's why there's so much turbulence in our society, and that's why we're dealing with so much bullshit every day, with people lying to each other and mistreating each other, and like not feeling love, is because we're lied and we're told to fit into these molds. If everybody's just allowed to be free and be who they want to be, then there is no more conflict in the world. I mean, it's that simple, and if people could just approach the universe with a little bit of logic instead of looking for blind answers in a book, just use your brain and figure out why we're here. I mean, that's all I did. I just thought about it, and I've come up with the perfect setup, scenario, teaching, whatever, that I really just want to share with everybody, because it just makes so much sense. And I've had all these things my whole life telling me that that's what I'm supposed to do, so here I am trying to do it, and not doing such a great job at it. But normally, when people come around me and ask me questions and stuff, I'm pretty good at answering them. But as far as how to get it out there to people, I really don't know. So what I'm looking for is feedback from everybody, I'm looking, you know, I'm trying to, it's not a one-sided thing. Teaching isn't a one-sided thing. Like it's hard to just get on here and just preach and teach. I want to be more interactive with people. What do people know? What do people want to know?
Well, that's one thing I did set up. I did set up an email address.
Yeah.
jfc@1144live.com.
Yeah.
And any email that comes in, basically, I'll deliver to your doorstep, essentially. You know, and kind of get, you know, that way it's for next. You can answer the questions, you know, later on down the road, kind of deal. But you know, that's
My idea was to kind of come on and you know, talk about that first of all. Why we need to be unique. You know what I mean? Why we need to change. You know. Change our point of view that we're dealing with every day, and I wanted to try to get people fired up over it, you know, because nothing gets done unless you're fired up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we're all just sitting around passive, just doing our everyday lives, just bullshitting each other and telling everybody what they need to hear to get through the day, and like we always do, like every one of us does every day, we're just we're not getting anywhere in life. So the idea is stir the shit up once in a while.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's how you get,
like,
you know, that's how you get some
stir
viewers.
the shit up.
Stir the shit pot.
Well, no, that's how you learn. That's how,
Well, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, don't be afraid to stir the shit up, you know? Like, you got to get everybody going, you know? Like, if you just keep going in the routine every day and the same thing happens every day, that's not what the Creator wants for us. The Creator wants unique experiences. He wants us to learn and wants us to progress and grow. That's the reason we're here. So by going into a mold and every day doing the same thing and living the same bullshit, you're not doing the work of the Creator. By gaining new experiences and learning how to love every single other human being on the earth, that is working for the Creator. And that's what we all need to start doing, you know? If people could realize that on a whole and put their passion into that, we'd live in a perfect fucking world. It's that simple. The teachings, the hours and hours and hours of religious teachings that I could go on and on about how the universe was created and what it is and the structure of it and why we're here and where we're going and where we came from and all that. It's all known to the heads of the churches and all these secret societies and all that. They all know this stuff, and they've worked very, very hard to keep it from the population. And with the way the world is now, with everybody being connected over the internet, hello the internet, you know, we can it's time for this teaching to get out to everybody. There's no more secrets in the world. We got to start learning how to handle each other and handle the truth. Everybody's got to start learning how to handle the truth. Most people are living in denial. They'd rather just, you know, sink into that old-fashioned book, the Bible, and say, this is it, you know, or whatever your religion is. You just want to sink into that. You know, that's not what you got to do. You got to get out there. You got to experience new things. You got to learn. You got to live. And you got to do what your heart desires. I mean, God does not want you to fit into a mold. He wants you to grow and experience new things. That's what everybody needs to learn right now, more than anything else. More than anything else I could come on here and say.
Well, how would you give your breakdown of the teaching, if you will, to you know, to our listeners?
Yeah, well, you know, the teaching is just everything I talk about. That's what I refer to it, because I don't want to say my theories or my philosophy. It's something else. It's something greater. It's a, you know, and I know with every fiber of my being that this is what the real Jesus taught 2,000 years ago. The first Jesus, the seed sower. And I know with every fiber of my being that he just taught pure love, and that's what the teaching is really all about, is pure love. If you want to do something and I should love you for who you are and your decision and whatever you make to do. You know what I mean? And the fact that everybody's trying to control somebody, everybody's like, oh, if you do this, I'm not going to like you anymore. That's how people live their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with jealousy and all that.
All of it, but we do it every day with every person we meet. If this person doesn't act this way, I'm not going to like them. We do, no, you got to learn that everybody needs to be free and accept each other. That is number one. That is what love is. Love is letting go. Love is, everybody has the wrong idea of that. And then once that idea is sunk in, then people, will see that, yes, this is all about being unique. It's all about gaining new experiences and fitting into a mold. And, what sense would it make for a creator to put us here to worship him? Sundays with JFC, that's the idea, because Sundays are not about worship in a church. A church is anywhere two people are gathered together in the name of God, discussing God, okay? Prayer, meditation, contemplation. Contemplation is, it's we're exchanging ideas, but we do it in our heads. We contemplate God. That is a great form of worship, essentially, is contemplating God and trying to figure out what God is. So now here we are engaging in contemplation together, if I get some feedback. So we're creating something new, a new type of church, and it's not about one person. A church is not about one person telling everybody how it is. It's about everybody exchanging ideas. And if you have ideas of what God is that's opposite of my ideas, that both ideas are equally true. That is how great the Creator is. It's, there is no one definition. The Creator is so great that it can be defined in a million different ways that all contradict each other, and they're all equally right, because the Creator is absolutely everything. It's anything you can imagine it being. It's the entire universe. Consciousness is the fabric underneath our reality. And our goal is to move up through consciousness, And that's why we're here. And the way society is right now, with everybody being connected on the internet and things coming to a head here on the planet. We can see it all around us. Things are coming to a head here on the planet. It's time for people to learn the next lesson. This is the end of the road for humanity. It's going to come to a head, and it's going to go one way or another. We're either going to go down that AI road and all become slaves to a small empire, or we're going to free our consciousness and learn to love each other and live on this planet with a mass population of people who know how to work as a single collective, as a single unit. The choice has to be made now. And, we don't want the other road. We want, this planet can sustain more than 7 billion people if we'd all just work together and make it work. You know what I mean? And if we start doing that, a new consciousness will emerge. People will start having telepathy and connecting mentally with each other, and we'll form into a single unit. This is what this is our destiny. We need to make it happen. And the way to make it happen is to learn to start loving each other, learn to come together. That is the most important teaching. But I do want to get into a lot of other stuff. I'd like to get on here every Sunday, and I'd like to worship God by contemplating and discussing what the creation is, what the Creator is. That is worship. Simply going to a church and learning how to fit into a mold is not what the Creator wants for you. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is that gave me this stuff in my head. It just all come together in a perfect way. I can tell you, I can see the workings of the creation, and just like I see the workings of a machine. I can pull it apart and I can analyze it and answer any question. And I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. It just comes out of my head. And I've had all these coincidences my whole life that link me to Jesus Christ, and all these theories that I'd love to talk about also. And I want it to be a two-way discussion.
Well,
I'd like to get some people asking questions.
Dabble in some theories just to kind of give an idea of what you'd like to further discuss later on down the road.
Well, I mean, the idea that consciousness is the fabric of creation. From our current point of view that we see the world, consciousness is created by matter. Everybody thinks that matter came together and worked its way up through evolution and somehow became conscious. And that's how people think that the universe came together. But it's actually the opposite. The consciousness came first. There was nothing, the universe was empty, and then the universe realized that it was empty. So when it realized that its self-existence, it filled with light, more or less. But it's not the light that we imagine. It's a much brighter light, a spiritual light. And then the mind, the empty mind that knew nothing but itself and this light, began to work the light in ways that it could logically figure out. It figured out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it figured out geometry, and that's why the whole universe has a geometrical structure. And basically this great mind used the light that was part of itself, condensed it down into heavier and heavier forms, separated itself into infinite number of singular pieces. And then every one of these singular pieces now has to gain experience on the lowest levels of the universe as simple photons of light evolving into hydrogen atoms and right up through the all the way up to being collective bodies, like after it goes through a certain amount of cycle of lower atoms, it starts to collect bodies around itself, and then that's a rock or something. And those are all the lower. It's everything in the universe is part of the mind, so everything is alive. So the lowest forms of life are the solid matter that we see around us, and then as that gains more and more consciousness over millions of years or whatever it takes, it becomes single cell organisms, plants, animals, and then the animals become more and more self-independent. And then eventually, when you take a dog or a cat, that's pretty much as far as the universe can go on that level, evolutionary wise. Is an independent creature, able to move around, able to make its own decisions, able to work in a group or not work in a group. So in order for any more lessons to be learned, we have to come to a lifetime in existence like we're at now. We're going to, we have to learn how to love each other. We have to learn how to come together. So in this great journey that I'm talking about, from infinite separation to back to unity, everything has to start coming together. That's why all the single atoms of consciousness start collecting bodies around themselves. And my consciousness, which is not part of my body, is collecting my energy field, is collecting this body around itself. It's bringing the single elements of the creation back into unity. So the next step is for us to all learn how to love each other so that all of us can come into unity. And essentially, beings, me and you, start merging into units. And all of humanity becomes a single body in the universe.
You mean conscious-wise, right?
Conscious-wise.
Yeah. Like, we're not going to do a human pyramid kind of
No,
shit.
No.
I know. I'm just busting your balls.
Yeah. But essentially, once we all connect on that level, all of humanity becomes a single body, just like our bodies are all of these single cells coming together to form us. We all come together to form a greater collective consciousness, a greater body of the universe. And the whole journey back up to oneness is the universe coming back together. So this makes total logical sense. You can take this theory of creation, look at it like a machine. It actually works. There's not a religion that puts that out there at all.
Oops.
And the levels I can go on and on and on, this basic theory and how it applies to everything. I mean, you shoot me any question of philosophical religious nature and I will relate it back to this. You know what I mean? I see everything I see every day, everything anybody talks to me about, I see through the prism of this theory, you know, and I have yet to have anything contradict it in many, many years. Nothing has ever been able to change my mind that this is the way it is, because it makes logical sense, and you can't argue with logic.
You're absolutely correct.
I can't, and it's just the way I am. I'm I have to figure out how things work, or I can't deal with them. You know what I mean? Like if I don't want to take the time to figure out everything about something, I don't want to know nothing about it. You know what I mean? But life and my existence here, it's like you're kind of stuck with it. You can't push it off and be like, I don't want to know nothing about it. You're kind of stuck. So I've had no choice my whole life but to try to figure out why I'm here. You know, it's like I'm bent on it, you know. And you know, I actually it just came to me like, you know, I've studied this, I studied a little bit of that, but just one day it just all came together, and all of a sudden I could start putting it out in a way that people could understand it and learn from it, you know?
Yep.
So, you know, I feel like this is what I'm meant to do, and that's why I'm here right now, you know? But where to go with it next?
No, oh, shit. I'm sorry. Late night partying, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's what it's all about, is, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the church wants to tell you, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I mean? Live your fucking life. Enjoy yourself. If there's something you want to do it. Because the Creator is putting that thought in your head, making you want to do that. Because whatever the Creator is making you want to do, you're going to learn from it. Even if your Creator's telling you to fucking, you know, do something bad, you're still going to do it to learn from it. You know what I mean? As long as you do it with the idea that you can't hurt anybody else's free will. Everybody has to be able, you know what I mean? You cannot take away anybody else's free will. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have just blown out with that. There's a lot of other considerations in there.
You're not saying.
But once everybody learns how to love each other, the way I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's total freedom, free will. Love is freedom. Love is freedom. That is just, you know, people don't, you know, they hear that like a slogan or something. I don't know. But there's so much meaning in that. Like, so once everybody gets to that point, and, you know, nobody's going to do anything to affect anybody else's free will, you know, then that's the way it should be. We all should be able to do whatever the fuck we want. If we want to fucking party and have a good time, we should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's your choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
and
there.
If you live your life wanting to do that and you don't because of some religious reason or some other person that doesn't want you to do it, then you're in the wrong. They're in the wrong for trying to control you. And
yeah, through
the religion, all it does is try to control people. Like, why? You know?
Yeah.
Why do people want to be controlled? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you know, there's lots of reasons government-wise why people would.
People want to be enslaved, though. They don't want to come out of their shell because there's nothing good to come to. That's the idea. Like, if people just said, oh, if everybody just looked at the fucking teachings of the church and said, what the fuck is this shit? It doesn't make any sense. And just said, you know, which they should do, there'd be nothing for them to come to. They'd be in a world of emptiness. Where do I go now? You know?
Yeah, essentially.
I'm telling people there is something to go to. These teachings that have been given to me from whatever have been around. They've been hidden from everybody, kept secret. You won't find them on the internet unless you do a lot of fucking research and putting together, you know. But they're there.
Now, what religions have you studied? I know we've had many discussions.
A little bit in everything. You know, I mean,
You've gone.
As soon as I get into a religion and I read it through my prism of my theory, which I just laid out, it's just like, okay, this one's saying the same thing again. You know?
Yeah, it's just wordedly different.
Yeah. And so no matter what I read, you know, but I've gotten really deep into Kabbalah study. You know, that's probably one of my big areas of thought. I spend a lot of time contemplating that, which they tell you can make you crazy. So maybe that's got something to do with it, but
yeah, it's hard to tell.
You know, but
this
I mean, idea, I've had this insatiable hatred my whole life for the Catholic Church. I believe that Latin is like a demonic language. And you know, I'm totally against any of that. But there is a path to good through every religion, regardless of how bad it is, you know. But you know, everyone has been distorted by evil. Every one of the religions has been distorted by evil in some way, and it's necessary because the good is so pure it can't be put into words. So in order to condense it down into words, we have to start adding negativity to it. It's you know, you're stuck either way. So we have to start manifesting ideas in our minds that are beyond words. That's something we all have to come to. And the people are ready for it. People are ready for it. And, you know, 100 years ago, people weren't ready for it. Today, people are ready for it. It's going to be a rude awakening for some people, you know, but they can handle it now.
So essentially, you're saying like, you know, mega churches like your Joel Epstein, or I'm sorry, Joel Olstein. There we go.
Yeah, whoever that guy is.
He's like a massive pastor down in like Texas, and like.
Well, I haven't heard what he's saying. I don't want to put him down exactly.
Well, no,
I know
mean
what
like,
a lot of these guys do though.
You know. I mean, I haven't heard anything.
Even the Lord Jesus Christ. The Lord Jesus Christ loved you. You know. Well, what does that do for anybody? I really don't understand. Well, I understand. I do understand how it works and all that. Okay, I don't want to say I don't understand. But why people would just want to go into that mold, I don't understand. When they're working with something greater, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
They're getting a piece of the pie from out of that, but why not bake your own pie?
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
have you seen like for instance, Joel Olstein's house there? He's got I forget how many fucking square feet. It's a mansion. Yeah. It's a fucking motherfucking mansion.
I have no doubt. Yeah.
His house, not just the church. The church, I think he bought out like an old fucking stadium essentially. Yeah. So you fit thousands of peoples in these fucking mega churches essentially. Yeah. And I mean, this guy makes so much money off of like the collection plate essentially. And tax write off. And I mean, this.
Oh yeah, people will keep sending money. Dude, all the money that's been sent into religion, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like
people need to hang out of that money for themselves. Use it to help your neighbor, help your brother, help your sister. Don't send it to this rich guy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
this is a scam. It's control, and at the same time, he's making everybody fit into the mold and everybody behave exactly the way that he wants them to behave.
Exactly.
And follow his orders. And if he comes out and tells them to do this, they're all going to do that. And
Oh yeah.
Hierarchies, controllers, leaders are a bad thing. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
no good. Jesus did not want to. Jesus Christ, the man that was written about in the Bible, who I say was a man who had special abilities. He was not the only son of God and all that BS that's been written about him. He did not want to be worshipped. He said in every way to not worship him. After he made a miracle, he said, "Tell nobody." You know what I mean? He don't boost me up. You know, can't people see that just the fact that this guy is fucking taking all this money and using it to be rich and built up, that is the opposite of what Jesus Christ was.
Yeah, essentially.
Jesus Christ, if he had a dime in his pocket, he would have gave it to the first person he saw that needed it.
Absolutely.
And he would have walked around with bare feet, and you know, whatever. He would have gave every last little thing he could and taken nothing for himself.
Essentially, yes.
That's what Jesus Christ would have done.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
And this guy, if he claims to be this great spiritual leader or whatever he claims to be with all these people following him, he should be walking around barefoot, and there shouldn't be a hungry person within 100 miles of him.
I haven't done any research on this, but I imagine there's probably 2,000 feet square feet per family member of the house is just my estimate, just from what I've seen. I don't know how many people are there.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And people should see just how fraudulent this guy is just from that. Nobody's willing to put logic into anything. They just want to believe that everything is the way that they see it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, everybody's worshiping this guy. I better worship him too.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you start throwing facts at them, and they're all like, no. But,
please,
you know,
stop giving your energy and your money to these people.
Yeah. But, like, you know, you start giving facts to people and everything else, and, you know, you start deteriorating their brainwashed at fucking 6 years old kind of thing from going to church school or even church with the parents. Mm-hmm. And because that's so brainwashed in their head, they'll fight you tooth and nail on like fucking everything, you know. But once you start throwing logic into the mix, you start kind of unraveling a lot of shit.
Because their logic is totally based in that book.
Absolutely, and that's what
joke.
their faith is.
It's a freaking joke. I mean, the Old Testament was translated from the Hebrew. It was, the first 5 books of the Bible are the Torah. Okay, when you read the Torah in Hebrew, God is clearly male and female. There is no question about it whatsoever. When you read it, God is masculine and feminine. But the Christians read Genesis, a translation retranslated many, many times, and they say, no, this is, like God is a man because it says it there in my King James Bible. But if you follow back the evidence, it's right there in the beginning of the Bible, the bullshit starts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many inaccuracies with how many times it's been rewritten. You know what I mean?
And then King James, I guarantee you, was under demonic influence when he made that translation of the Bible.
Absolutely. And then he got
and made the one that we're all familiar with today. I guarantee you he was under demonic influence. You can trace the demonic summoning back to his mother and all that. So telling you, it's bad. The way that book is translated is not for the benefit of humanity. It's for the benefit of the controlling elite. Believe me.
Absolutely.
The controlling elite have this teaching. They have it. They live by it. And they use it to manipulate us.
Now, what's funny to me is like, if that's like the hand of God that truly happened, why is there so many variations of it between all these different religions? You know what I mean? Clearly, it's
because what God is so great that it can't be put into words. So every religion is a different description of something that can't be described. So, in trying to describe it, you have to alter it, and that alteration automatically ensues evil in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's part of the game. You know what I mean? It's part of the learning experience. Like I said a while ago, we only learn through turbulation, through stirring the shit. You know what I mean?
Essentially, yeah.
So, just a simple explanation of God for everybody, wouldn't do it. Because it doesn't. There is no simple explanation. So we have to be given these turbulent ideas to stir the shit to make us, ponder it and get different ideas.
Yeah, use your
brain. We can't
brain.
all believe the same thing.
Yeah.
Because God is not that simple.
Well, there's so many variations on religion. Obviously, there was a different idea and opinion, and
the idea is that they're all right.
Uniqueness.
The only people that are wrong are the ones that blindly follow and don't use their own logic.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because
we all should have our own opinion, our own view of what God is.
Yep.
But once we come together in our opinion of what that is, in our view of what that is through logic, start to form a more serious society. A more unified society, becoming like a one single body, like I was saying. So,
absolutely, I got it. I'm sorry,
but that's what it's all about, and I just. I want to get some feedback from people. I need to know where to go with it. I can't figure out how to present it. I can't figure out how to put it in a simple summary. I can more or less just teach off the, however you want to say it, just out into the air, I much more enjoy working with people one-on-one, but I want to reach out to people who are open-minded to this type of stuff, because I know at a time when I started learning, if I had seen somebody like me, I would have been like, whoa, I got to talk to this guy. So there must be people out there who want to get together and discuss and learn, and I'm always open to hearing other people's ideas. Anytime I teach somebody, I learn from them too. They open my ideas to more things, and then I apply them to the logic that's in my brain, and I come out with new things that I didn't know before. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It happens. So you don't ever just teach or just learn. It's always a two-way exchange. So, and I don't want to just sit up here and preach like the freaking rich guy you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And tell everybody, oh, this is the way it is. Believe it. No, this is about really convincing people to use their minds, use logic.
Individualism.
That's what.
Uniqueness.
Right.
Use your own mental power to really
And then once we can learn to accept everybody for what they are, we start really coming together. And that's where we're at right now. That's what needs to happen in the end times, in this time that we're in right now. And I don't know how this happened to me or why me, but I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do, and so I guess I got to do it. But I think that this is, the end times, and it's time to get this teaching out. I don't know where to go with it from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's neither do I.
I thought I had it, but
at the moment, I mean, we've made some notes this time in case anybody gave a fuck. We're just trying to go over some stuff. I got really nothing at the moment. This is just for another particular show, particular theories.
We're just testing the waters here, see what's going on. But we're gonna try to do a little better, more serious of a show here at some point, so we can kind of say, here it is, and get people to check it out. Check out this one. We actually lay it down right here.
Yeah, we're still the learning process.
Still the learning process, but
we're still in the college of how to fucking stream and create our own TV radio station kind of bullshit here. So
yeah, but,
bear with us and shit.
Yep.
So you think we should pack it in till we get some more ideas until next week here?
Yep.
We could do that.
But Sundays, this idea that we all need to get together and worship this mold in the church. I just like slapping that idea in the face. It's like how I always like to play my guitar really loud during the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
just fuck everybody.
Right? Exactly. Oh, everybody's watching that game. I'm gonna fucking be. So Sundays we're gonna blaspheme and talk about what God really wants for us, and forget about all this bullshit that we've been fed for a couple thousand years, and start being what the Creator really wants us to be
through premonitions of Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I guess so.
So tune in next week, next Sunday. We're shooting for 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, somewhere in that fucking ballpark. It's something like that. But yeah, eventually we'll have a hotline open so we can kind of take some calls and even kind of
wouldn't that be neat?
Shitstorm with it, theory wise, and try and break down your version of religion and your logic and see see what the fuck happens.
Yeah.
I just realized that the Jesus fucking Christ at JFC at 1144live.com, I misfucked up on that. It's JCF. I'll fix it so I'll be able to receive both
JFC.
Emails. Yeah, fuck
you typed it wrong on the screen.
I fucked
you typed
it
it wrong on the screen. It's JFC.
It's JFC at 1144live.com. I got it right with Sunday with JFC, but I botched the email address.
I told you, man, you quit fucking toking that shit up all the time.
I know, like green stuff, it's heavenly.
Yeah.
It's earthly. All right.
I'm sorry I fucked everything up.
That's all good. Shit happens. All right.
Later.
Till next time, motherfuckers.